Hi, everybody. It's Alex Jarett with Technology Executives Club. I'm really happy to introduce you to my good friend Nathan Rajen. Hi, Nathan. How are you?
I am doing wonderful, Alex. How are you?
Great to see you. I love your new set. You've really done great with this. And Nathan, I got to congratulate you. You're now the new CTO at a company called Prolim. The last time I talked to you and actually did an interview with you, you were I think you were the CISO of Joyson Safety Systems. And you've been at that company, you were CISO, CTO, CDO, CIO, and I was always impressed because you were able to create the office of environment. You did such a great job for them. And you're also on our board of advisors, which is why we're here, just you sharing insights with people. And tell us real quickly what you're doing at Prolim and then what you're going to talk about today.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, very excited about this new role with Prolim. Prolim is a company that is almost focused exclusively on digital transformation for
Uh,
customers, or manufacturers in particular. When I say digital transformation, we're talking about innovation. How do you create new products? How do you manufacture those products? How do you
oh,
bring innovation faster to market? That's the core industry that this company focuses on. So we work with
really?
manufacturers of all kinds, from aerospace to defense to automotive to high tech, you name it, to healthcare, energy sector. We work with multiple industries and really focus on empowering those customers, innovate, design, manufacture, and launch these innovative solutions faster to market. That's really
Eh,
what the company is focused on. And in my role, I'm really looking at how do we bring innovation to everything we do within the company and deliver that value to our customers. And when I say innovation, we are talking about product innovation, manufacturing innovation, supply chain innovation. Of course, now we are discussing a lot about artificial intelligence. We're talking a lot about industrial IoT technology that we need to embed in our products and our solutions for our customers. And today, I really want to focus on one area that has been front and center for us in our discussions with our customers, which is this whole low code, no code AI strategy that our customers are very quickly beginning to adapt and are beginning to realize rapid value out of these platforms.
wow, that's incredible, Nathan. I know we talked so many times, and you were actually, for those that know you, you were actually at Ford when CAD-CAM and you changed how manufacturing occurred there, and then you went to Joyson Safety Systems. You've really helped a lot of people. And now you're on the leading edge again at Prolim, really helping lots of different companies in how they're doing manufacturing. So that's really exciting. So what we're
Yep.
going to do here is I'm going to stop sharing. I'll let you turn on your sharing, then I'll go away, everybody, and you'll listen to Nathan share for a while.
Again, thanks, Alex, for this opportunity. So I'll spend a little bit of time talking about this entire low code, no code strategy that customers are fast adapting. Real quick, in no way meant to be a company pitch, but since I am with Prolim, I just want to give a quick overview of what we do. We are a global company. We operate in multiple countries, multiple industries. We work in PLM, we work in cloud enablement. We do Mendix low code industrial AI, which I will talk about today. But also very excited about some new partnerships that we are venturing into. A big one that I'm very excited about is Snowflake, and how I can combine this industrial AI strategy with what Snowflake offers. So you'll hopefully start seeing some announcements coming up in short order from us. But I'll focus today on this particular low code strategy, right? So the platform that we use, it's called Mendix. That is one of the leading low code platforms in the marketplace, but there are many platforms available. Oracle offers one, Microsoft offers one, Amazon, every tech company offers a low code platform. So in no way I'm asking you to look at Mendix, but this is the platform that we have chosen to use to create our digital manufacturing solutions that we are now working with our customers to institutionalize. And we actually have a particular brand called Fascia Digital that is the culmination of all our AI low code, no code solutions. And you are welcome to go check it out. It's called fasciadigital.com. We recently launched this platform 2 weeks back in Hanover Messe in Germany in the big innovation event. But what we are doing currently with this platform is we are working across multiple industries. Just to give you a glimpse, in the energy sector, we are working with windmill manufacturers to actually do monitoring of the windmills. We are doing the same thing with the solar farms, and we are also doing digital farming, where they're doing all this hydroponic farming. So a lot of innovative applications happening with this platform. Of course, traditional manufacturing, with the automotive manufacturers, with the vehicle manufacturers, we are looking at suppliers and see how we can help suppliers do better inventory management, supply chain management. We are working with the shipbuilding industries, aircraft industries, heavy material industries, lots and lots and lots of applications on this, right? But I'll quickly delve into what the platform is to kind of help you guys understand how to go about developing a low code, no code strategy for your company, right? Again, we are focusing on digital manufacturing, but there are plenty of use cases, and I'll explain some use cases as well. The key is easy to use, simple to create, rapid application development, right? The old days of, weeks of planning, requirements documentation, and then development and testing and going through all of those are things of the past. Everybody's now familiar with agile development and doing things in sprints. With this entire low code, no code platform approach, this takes that to the next level in terms of speed to launch. Once you think about creating something, you don't need to worry about all the technical complexities that you dealt with in the past, right? The platform itself that we have launched offers all of these capabilities, right? Again, I'm talking about a digital manufacturing platform. Think about smart manufacturing, right? Through the platform, you are able to manage your manufacturing operations. That means in your plant, you are able to integrate this platform with your ERP systems, with your MRP systems, with your manufacturing execution systems, with your industrial IoT and other controllers that you may have in the plant. Typically, the challenges the plant faces is they got lots of systems, but they're all standalone systems. They don't talk to each other. So it's a challenge to get real insight out of this, right? So that's really where this platform comes in and is able to provide real-time insight in terms of critical metrics like capacity. Right? If you're a plant manager, you need to have your eyesight on your capacity, right? I'm talking about people capacity, resource capacity, material capacity, equipment capacity, production capacity. Capacity is a big thing for the plants, right? Productivity loss management. How much scrap is going in? What is the downtime in my production lines? Is there equipment downtime? All of those. Cycle time analysis. How fast am I developing? What does my throughput look like? Plan versus actuals. What does my variance look like? What does my work in progress inventory look like? All of that. A big one for plants, of course, any manufacturer is quality, right? So real-time insight into your quality control at the plant level. What is the reject rate? What is the failure, cost value, defect trends, field and customer quality, vendor quality? You can integrate all kinds of quality data points into the dashboard. Maintenance, big one again. Your biggest assets, the capital intensive assets in your facilities or your production assets, the equipment that you use to manufacture your product. So they need to be up and running, right? How do I do planned maintenance? How do I do preventive maintenance? All of that becomes very, very important. Resource management. Are the key people available? Are the key resources available? Do we have the right people doing the right job? Many customers will demand that the plant operators have to be certified in certain operations to be able to actually perform a certain manufacturing job in the plant. It is in many cases, it is an auditable process. So we actually automate a lot of those things. Inventory and warehouse management, inventory consumption, real-time tracking, RFID scanning. A lot of things are possible here. I'm just giving you a glimpse of the art of the possible, right? Inventory aging reports. How much inventory is sitting on my shelf? Do I have any premium freights going on? Energy management. How much energy is being consumed? How do I optimize the energy utilization in my plant? All of those are part of this particular platform, right? In a nutshell, the platform is called Promise. It delivers real-time transparency. It reduces the effort that you in the plant need to invest to collect data, collate data, and then create reports. It gives you actionable insights. So you're able to actually make decisions and optimize the way you run your plants. Electronic workflows. So if you need to do any kind of approvals, any kind of reviews, all of those are automated. Industrial edge. I'll briefly talk about the architecture behind this, but industrial edge is very, very critical these days, right? What is industrial edge? In a nutshell, it is a small scale data center operating within the plant, within the four walls of the plant. But it is a smart data center. It has IoT capabilities. It has what we call as edge capabilities that are collecting data within the plant, and then it is filtering all the noise. So you're only seeing actionable insights. And of course, management dashboards, which everybody wants to see. Right? Architecture is important when we talk about these kind of platforms, and we have given a lot of consideration in creating the right architecture. Again, use this as a guideline when you develop your own strategy for creating your own smart manufacturing platforms or smart manufacturing solutions within your enterprises, right? So we have a lot of capabilities. So there are certain things that are out of the box, and then there are certain things that are customizable. There are certain things that are configurable. In the past, when we say customize, it was always considered a dirty word, a four-letter dirty word, right? Why do you want to customize? Let's use out-of-the-box stuff. Let's configure. Do not customize, because once you customize, it becomes hard to maintain. All kinds of problems with customization. Now, with this entire low-code, no-code approach, customization is no longer considered a dirty word, because that is really the advantage of these low-code platforms. Is you may have a unique process, you may have some unique business advantage that you gain by implementing something that is unique to your business. And whenever we try to implement standard enterprise solutions, you have to compromise your process uniqueness to stick to enterprise standards. That's a challenge for most plants these days. And this really addresses that, because with this platform, you don't need to worry about sticking to only standards. If you think you need something that is unique to you, you can customize it, and customize it very, very quickly, very, very rapidly. When I say very, very quickly, I'm talking quite literally within a week. You will be able to launch an application. That is how simple these low-code platforms make it possible for you, right? And in this particular case, we have a lot of connectivity built. The big ones are, of course, the PLC, the IoT, the edge. Every plant will have PLCs. Increasingly, more and more plants are having IoT solutions that are embedded in your production lines. And of course, the edge devices that I talked about. ERP is a big one. Of course, SAP is the biggest of them all, but there are many different ERPs that are available out of the box that we have connectors for. And marketplace components. What do I mean by marketplace? So this is a platform that is actually now available for customers to download on the AWS, on the Amazon Marketplace. It is available on the Azure Marketplace. Of course, it's available on the Prolim Marketplace. It will soon be available on the Snowflake Marketplace. So you're almost moving into a consumer model. You consume what you need. You don't see what you don't. If something that you need is not there, just develop it internally or work with us. We'll work with you to develop it as well. The speed is there. The very rapid accelerated development speed is there. But these solutions are all available in the marketplaces today. Big eye chart, so I will not go too much into this, but this is the technical architecture behind how this particular platform is architected. Again, use this as a guideline when you're creating your own architecture, but I'll kind of at a very high level walk you through what are the key components you need to consider, right? So let's first look at a plant, right? We got the plant right here. Let me switch my pointer. So you got a plant here, and within the plant, as I said, you have this little mini data center, right? And it may have an industrial edge system in there. We call it as an industrial PC. There will be a little bit of a database. There will be an application server. There will be file storage for storing information. And there will be virtual machines that you may need to scale this environment. That's typically what you will find in most plants within the edge device, or maybe not even edge. They may simply have a physical data center in the plant, right? And they may have some other information systems that are connecting to this stuff. And this is where all the plant data typically gets collected. When I say plant data, execution data from the production lines, quality data, any other scrap data, inventory data, all of this is sitting in these multiple systems that are physically housed within the plant at a factory level. And then we have sometimes a DMZ. This is basically a demilitarized zone. If you need suppliers to access this data, if you need customers to access this data, you need to have a secure way for them to connect and leverage this information. Especially with your suppliers, this is critical because without sharing information with your suppliers, it's difficult for them to send inventory just in time and do all the stuff that they need to do. At a shop floor level, now I'm talking about a production line, right? There could be multiple lines in one plant. You are going to have multiple stations, right? And then there will be a sequence of operations that you run your product to. And then at the end of this process, you have a finished product. This is a typical architecture within a plant. And again, of course, a typical customer will have more than one plant. I'm just showing a couple of plants here. So this is the plant architecture, right? And then at the enterprise level, so this is the edge sitting in the plant. And then this is the enterprise architecture that connects with all the plants, right? We have an enterprise server, similar to the plant data center architecture, but now this is sitting probably in your enterprise data warehouse or maybe in a cloud that you use for all of your enterprise consumption. And you may have other systems like your ERP systems and many other systems that I will not go into the details here, but here is the low-code platform that I talked about. So in our case, as I mentioned, we use Mendix, which is represented here by MX. When we say low-code, no-code AI, the most commonly used language is Python, and we in fact use Python here, but that is by no means the only language that the platform supports. Many other languages are supported, but certainly be aware of the skill set required to leverage this. Not very complicated, very easy skill set. And then, of course, there is the public internet version. This is the Mendix marketplace that is now available, as I mentioned, in Azure. It's available in AWS marketplace as well, but it is the Mendix marketplace that's available in all the public cloud environments. So in effect, if you're creating this architecture for your own company, think of it this way, right? So traditionally, you would have to develop applications, deploy it, and then roll it out and then maintain it and support it. In this model, you can create your own marketplace for your own company, right? Then it becomes just a pull model. So you create it, you create this low-code applications, push it into your own marketplace, and then your departments can just consume it from the marketplace directly. It's like your own private marketplace. That is the power of this platform, and that is how we are able to accelerate the innovation and make sure the innovation reaches the consumers very, very quickly. Again, for this particular solution, some of the key things we focused on were improving the overall efficiency, right? How do we reduce the downtime? How do we optimize the resource utilization? Those were some of our big KPIs that our customers demanded from us. And then, of course, real-time visibility into my plant operations. Every plant manager wants it. Every COO wants it. Every CEO wants it. So that's very, very critical. Quality control and auditable, traceable quality control is very, very important. And that's what the traceability refers to. If you're a manufacturer, you know how important product traceability is. In case there is a warranty, in case there is a recall of any kind, you absolutely must have full traceability. So you know exactly which batch that particular product came from, which raw materials went into that particular batch, which supplier the raw materials came from. You need to have complete traceability of the product. All of that information can be tracked here. And of course, compliance, depending on your own industry, every industry has a lot of different regulatory compliance that you have to meet. And once we understand what those are very easy to customize, integrate. And of course, we can do the dashboarding. And the last part I spoke about briefly, which is deployment versatility, meaning it's very easy. As I said, think of it as a marketplace. You deploy it, you put it in the marketplace, and then it can be consumed. You can deploy it on the public cloud. You can deploy it on the private cloud. You can deploy it within your own on-premise data center or in a mix of any of these in a hybrid model. So it's very, very versatile in terms of the deployment architecture as well. So in terms of just some insights on the dashboards, because end of the this is what customers really see and are able to comprehend what these solutions offer. I'm just giving you one example of a dashboard that we have in our platform for production management, right? So you can see planned versus actual. You can see how much rework was done. You can see the Kaizen reports. You can see quality issues. You can look at these at a plant level. You can look at these at a line level. You can look at this at any level that you need to. Now, quality reports. This is production quality management, right? So you can look at issues by shift, by month, issues by part, by process, by design, root cause analysis. What are the issues that are recurring? What are the major problem challenges that we have? You can go into each product. You can go into each line. You can go into each cell if you want. It is very, very customizable again. Again, production report, now we're looking at a different view of it, downtime by duration, operational performance reports. There is no end to how much this is configurable. And as I said, very easily configurable. You don't need a IT individual to do this. That truly is the power of these platforms. You could have somebody in the plant manager, somebody that is a production planner configure these reports if they so choose to. Here is a supervisor view. Let's say if I'm running these lines, I want to understand what is happening on each line. I want to understand what is happening on each station. It's literally a drill down report. I can click on any station and I can get real-time visibility into what is happening in that particular station at that point in time. Or I can look at my historic snapshot data and see what is happening at these lines, at these stations, or I can look at the plant level as well. Right here is a station level view. So now I'm looking at an individual station, and now I can drill down into the specific production operation that is happening in that station with that particular equipment. I can look at downtime, I can look at throughput, I can look at KPIs for that particular machine at that particular line level. Again, depending on what equipment you have in your station, all of that data can be very quickly ingested, and these reports can be generated. So that's a high-level overview of the platform. I'll quickly kind of walk through some other examples of things we have done with our low-code platform. So you get an idea for the art of the possible, right? We have over 200 applications that we have developed and delivered for our customers. To give you some insights on what these applications are, from idea management to a vehicle management system, supplier inventory management, warranty tracking, supply chain, a 3D viewing of the parts, energy resource management, a workflow for approvals within the plant, CPQ, configure price and quote. This is literally for quoting to the suppliers, ROI calculation, inventory management, health monitoring, service management, and so on and so forth. Right? I'll give you one example of a customer. This is a large railway coach manufacturer. For confidentiality reasons, I cannot mention the name of the customer, but you can see the solution that we implemented for this particular customer. It's a Mendix solution. It's a low-code solution that was deployed on a virtual edge server in the manufacturing facility, right? What did the customer want? They wanted production automation focused on enhancing efficiency, quality assurance, and optimizing the maintenance within the plant, right? That's what the customer was looking for. And what was implemented in this particular case was an automated tool for production tracking, scheduling, and quality monitoring, predictive maintenance strategy as well. So think about this, right? So if you have a plant that's actually doing something like this, manufacturing coaches, and if they don't have the right solutions that are tailor-made with the right dashboard, the right KPIs, the right data points that it's pulling in to give that kind of insight, oftentimes they deal with problems reactively, not proactively. And in the plant, every minute the plant is down, that's lost revenue for the plant, for the company. So this is very, very important that this kind of visibility is made available to the plants, and that's really exactly what this did for this one particular company. Right? They had a lot of challenges. They had a lot of manual processes. They were not able to trace the history of the product, which I said is, as I said before, extremely critical. They were not able to manage material, labor, and equipment efficiently. They had difficulty to track production in real time, leading to delays in identifying and addressing issues because they did not have end-to-end visibility. They were not able to they did not have visibility into production and resource allocation. So either they were over allocating or under allocating resources. Production scheduling. There's a big challenge for many plants. Even after implementing large systems like SAP, plants still struggle with manufacturing planning. Right, there's a big challenge for many plants. And then quality issues, limited integration with enterprise systems. So a lot of those challenges were, of course, addressed. And as I said, the entire solution was developed and deployed on our low-code platform that is called Mendix. But to give you a flavor of how long it took, again, this is a system that is enterprise class system that has been deployed on multiple plants, right? And integrated with multiple enterprise systems. In a normal application development cycle, we are talking about maybe 6 to 9 months to develop something like this. For this particular product, the entire cycle time was 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, the requirements were captured, the solution was developed, very agile. By every other day, we had a sprint with the customer. Every other day, we were reviewing the development. So it was rapid changes, very quickly accommodating all the changes as they come in from the customer. And within 2 weeks, we were able to actually do a test launch in the first plant. That is the power of these low-code, no-code platforms. I'll give you another example. This is a battery pack manufacturer, and they needed a traceability solution. Again, that is probably one of the most complex things when it comes to manufacturing, because we're talking about finished product all the way going to the raw material batch number that needs to be tracked. Along with OEE, operational efficiency as well, tracking. Very complex solution. I will not go too much into the details, but you can see from the slide the different things that we enabled for this particular customer. A digitization of a vehicle manufacturing system, right? So this customer was looking for a solution that will integrate with their enterprise resource planning system, with their manufacturing execution system, and many other legacy applications, old applications they had running in the plant. And for example, they wanted chassis number, assembly information, quality assurance data. That was all sitting in multiple systems. In some cases, it was manually being captured in spreadsheets. They had plants in multiple countries, and depending on the country, in some cases, they were literally capturing information on paper. In some countries, right? So a lot of need for automation, integration, and ease of use across multiple countries and multiple cultures. So this is a very interesting use case. In many countries around the world, we are seeing this multi-level car parking infrastructure, right? This is, if you go to Asia now, this has become the norm in most countries in Asia because of lack of physical space. What they have now invented is this stacking technology where you literally go put your car in a platform, and then you take your ticket and you walk out. And then the rest is all done automatically. What it does is basically the system selects a slot from one of these different levels where there is an open spot, and it parks your car. And then when it's time to go, you can come and put your ticket. It knows exactly where your car is parked. It goes to that spot, pulls the car out, brings it down, and then off you go. You don't actually drive and park your car anymore. That's very common these days in Asia. And for this customer, they were looking, this is the actual manufacturer of this car parking infrastructure, right? So they were looking for, how do I track my customers, my leads? In fact, they were looking for a CRM system. And so we built a complete CRM system with integration of the PMO capabilities, because the way the sale happens is you actually work with your builder who wants to build this facility, right? It's a project. So you're talking about a 6 to 9 months to sometimes 12 months or 2-year project, a building construction project to build this infrastructure for your customer. So they needed all of those capabilities integrated in one system. Again, the reason I'm showing this use case is, I know we talked about a lot of digital manufacturing, but the true power of these low-code, no-code platforms is that it really does not matter what you want to do. You know what you want to do, you have the requirements, let's go. The development cycle is very fast and very easy to integrate. with sensors, PLCs, whatever you need to integrate, traditional ERP, MRP systems, not an issue. Vendor onboarding and management, probably a little more traditional use case. Employee training, a lot of companies need it. A lot of companies probably spend a lot of money with third-party systems to do this today. With something like this, if you know what you want to train, you build your training content, and then you can build your own application very, very rapidly and launch it. Order processing, APAR processing. A lot of customers are using this to automate that process. And we are also integrating a lot of AI in use cases like this, especially fraud detection, fraud prevention. We have done a lot of work on this with AI technology. Employee onboarding, I'll skip this. CPQ is an interesting one, configure, price, and quote solution. Every business needs it. Every business does it. If you're responding to customers, if you're responding to suppliers, you need a CPQ. And there is no very, very easy to build a solution like this on a platform like this. RFQ is another big one. Every business needs a process for RFQ management. In most cases, in most customers, they will have a standalone system, or they will have a module that comes as part of their purchasing system or part of their ERP system or part of some other enterprise system. And they do a decent enough job, but they are standardized solutions. So if you have your own needs, if you have a certain way of qualifying vendors, if you have minimum criteria, let's say I want to do minimum 3 vendors or 2 vendors or whatever the case might be, or if I want to integrate certain quality data in validating my suppliers before I even send them an RFQ, a lot of needs are there, but not easy to implement. So think about all those challenges that you have in your traditional RFQ processes and what a automation platform can do for you in that case. Supplier collaboration, as I mentioned before, in that architecture that I showed you, there was this edge sitting in the plant, and then there was this DMZ zone, which is really the way you can enable your third-party suppliers or external suppliers to collaborate with you in real time on design information, on manufacturing information, on purchasing or quality or whatever the case might be. There are many, many use cases. But if you build the right architecture, the collaboration scenarios can very, very rapidly be developed and launched. It's a big challenge for many customers because in traditional architecture, it is not easy to do at all. Normally, what happens is in the plants or even in the design shops, you either FTP the data to your suppliers, or you create a digital mailbox where you load the data and then the supplier has to come download the data, or you may have to buy expensive licenses from your ERP vendors or from your PLM vendors, very expensive licenses to facilitate real-time collaboration. So a lot of that can be avoided as long as you have the architecture, the right infrastructure enabled, creating these collaboration scenarios using these low-code platforms becomes very, very easy. So with that, I will wrap it up, Alex, and hopefully that kind of gives you a flavor of what you can do with these low-code, no-code platforms. And back to you, Alex.
So first of all, that was amazing. I had no idea. So I want to ask you a couple questions. Can you go back to that original architecture slide you were showing at the beginning? I think that was the key to understanding the whole thing.
Yeah.
So in this architecture, you're saying you're putting this platform in that layer on top at the cloud enterprise level, where all the systems are from all the plants are tying into that level, right?
Yeah.
And so then when you put this low code, no code platform on there, it gives you access to all the different systems that are tracking at that level. And that's where you can start to develop this layer of all these different features that you create. Is that right? Or so, these mini apps or these apps?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Maybe a little bit. I'll explain a little bit more, right? So if you look at a traditional manufacturing plant, right, every plant will have these stations and lines that every plant will have.
Yeah.
With or without any technology layer on top, right? So Even if I go to a third world country, they're going to have lines and they're going to have stations in those lines manufacturing something. That's the bare minimum. Now,
Yeah.
in most plants, on top of that, they will have a ERP system. The ERP system is needed because that is where all of your planning is happening, all of your resource planning, all of your supplier sourcing, and all of that is happening in the ERP system. So most companies will have some version of a ERP system, and they will also have a MES system, some version of a MES. It could be even something that is customized in many cases. What is the
Yeah.
MES job is a MES system basically makes sure that this is running, right? So the MES system's job typically is it is integrated at the line level, and it makes sure that the production flow is happening. That is the job of the MES system, and it's collecting information from the line as the manufacturing process is being executed in the line. So every plant, most plants will have some type of MES system. Increasingly, what is happening now is we are talking about smart factories, right? When you say smart factory, now we're talking about in these lines. Not only do you have a MES system, but you're having all kinds of controllers that are integrated into the line, production controllers. And the controller can automate a lot of things, depending on what kind of programmable logic. PLCs is what we call them, programmable logic controllers, PLCs. You can program whatever you want to automate a lot of this using those controllers. And then they can also collect information as they are running the task. So a controller is like a little chip with a program that is actually running this particular station, and it is running the station and it is collecting information. Now, on top of that, now we are beginning to have more and more what we call as IoT, industrial edge controllers. The IoT controller is a little bit different from a PLC controller in the sense that a IoT controller is connected to the internet. It is capable of communicating to the internet or to the intranet, right? So it has a network built into it. That is the power of the IoT controller. So now we are talking about a smart controller sitting on this line that is capable of communicating back to something in real time. Now, what is that something? That's the question, right? So now we have a line. We have the ability to automate the line. We have the ability to capture data from the line. And also with IoT, we have the ability to communicate that information in real time to something, to some collection device. What is that collection device? That is where this edge comes in. So that is where the industrial edge that I talked about. So this little thing sitting there at the plant, the data center, this is typically a representative architecture of an industrial edge, right? There are many vendors offering many industrial edge devices. Rockwell does it, Honeywell does it, Siemens does it, even Microsoft offers one. So there are lots of different industrial edge vendors, and even Dell offers it. They come as like a pre-packaged box. You just bring the box, you put it in your plant, connect it, and then now you have the ability to collect all that information. It is still not leaving your plant. It is still sitting in the plant, but now it is getting collected in this edge device in the plant.
Got it.
Right. That is the power. And then once you have the ability to collect this data, what can you do with it? Now you put this Mendix layer on top, and then you integrate Mendix with the industrial edge. In fact, Mendix out of the box connects with many standard industrial edge devices. There's no coding required. You just plug it in and it starts working. And then you build whatever application you want on top of that.
So basically, you have all the back office systems and all those other systems, but then what happens is when you tie the factory using these smarter devices, and you're able to tie it in at the cloud enterprise level, and that's where you can mix the different kinds of data from the floor with the operational data and even the customer data to get all these reports and all this other information that you gave us all those examples of. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then the next part is, because this is what you're now bringing to the table is the fact that, because people can do this without your low code, no code solution, but by adding the low code, no code solution, you're now able to create these custom apps and manipulate the data quickly So it's actually a rapid response ability to create these apps to move the business forward faster. Is that correct?
You're absolutely right, Alex. And um, yes, we talked about a platform called
Yeah.
Mendix that we use, but
Yeah.
the use case is what I really want our audience to focus on, right? Think about there are many low code, no code platforms. You are by no means restricted to using this one. There are many
Yeah.
platforms. What I do see, because I spend so much time at the enterprise level with on the corporate side, there is still a great reluctance to embrace low code, no code. Great reluctance, especially in the traditional IT organizations, because they have invested in that misery of legacy applications for such a long time. They're having a tough time letting it go.
Yeah.
Because this is very
That was
disruptive.
my
This
question.
is very
That was my
disruptive,
next
right? So
question.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is very disruptive. So you be prepared to self-cannibalize is what I would say, because you have to.
So that was my next question, which is because first of all, I see the promise of this and I see how you're building all these apps. And by adding this additional layer that ties in with the smart factory environment, you're able to now dynamically see what's actually going on and make faster decisions and get better information when you need it, which is how people can make good decisions. I'm hearing that
It's
right.
about it's about agility. It's about continuous improvement, right?
Yeah.
Don't do this big enterprise initiative. They're
It's
great if you
amazing. It's
yeah, but
amazing because
yeah,
I think even some of these apps that you're just like saying, here's an app, here's an app, an app. Some of those could have been projects that were dead after a year.
absolutely,
In
absolutely.
the old way, which most people are probably still doing, in that approach, a lot of these apps that you just said, hey, we did this, those are probably dead projects to somebody watching this right now, today.
Yeah.
And you're able to, because of this new platform. I think this is the key chart to me is the platform, is the architecture. And and now what you're saying now let's go to that next question. You got the ERP, which is we all know you've got these mid-sized and larger companies that they built their ERP 10, 15 years ago and they've got that. How does it work with that? You said you're starting to cannibalize slowly, piece by piece. Is that what we're doing here, or we're integrating with it? Because we all know at some point they got to replace those things. So if you're that guy who's the CIO and you see this, what are you telling him or her to do with that big ERP? Or you're not saying don't worry about it. What are you saying? We won't worry about it. Let's just keep things moving. What are we saying?
Those enterprise systems certainly
Yeah.
have a role, right? Because there are things that they do really well.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't want to create these rapid apps to replace those large scale corporate functions that
No.
only those systems are geared to do. But we also try to squeeze a lot of juice out of those systems to
Yeah.
support a lot of that is where the challenges always are. For example, I will give you a classic example of
Yeah.
SAP, right? Anybody
Yeah.
who's using SAP will know this.
Yeah.
You probably spend millions of dollars implementing SAP, right? I don't care which version, even the latest S4 HANA, because
Yeah.
I probably did one of the largest S4 HANAs back in 2020 in the industry. You spend millions of dollars launching these solutions. And then 6 months after launch, you go talk to the plant manager. Hey, how's SAP working for you? Oh, it's okay. Why it's okay? We are still struggling with manufacturing planning. We are still struggling with manufacturing resource allocation. Why? Because it's way too complicated. People don't understand how to do it in SAP. It is very, very disciplined, and people start taking shortcuts because that's the challenge with these enterprise systems. People say, maybe I will do it in Excel, and then at the month end, when I have to do a finance close or inventory close, I will try to backfeed this data to my ERP and do the close. And a lot of surprises happen at that month end close because you're taking. Don't do that. Do this. You know how it is. You know how easy. You know what you need to do, but it is very difficult to do it in SAP or in ERP systems. Build an app for that. use the app to do it. Let the app talk back to SAP and do the integration.
Yeah,
This
you
is,
can
this is a
get the
classic
data
problem.
that you need, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But don't try and change the SAP system, which we all know was not meant to be changed a lot.
Yeah.
It's well, this is really brilliant, and I can see how valuable this is. And so this is how to get a hold of you, Nathan, if they want to reach out to you. So Nathan, this has been awesome. Everybody, you can tell Nathan knows what he's talking about. I mean, he's a great guy. I'm so grateful for you being involved with our organization. And I know from working with you, Nathan, that you're just there to help. And clearly you have a role here. You're CTO of this great company. You're excited about it. But if anybody wants to talk to Nathan, I highly recommend it and connect with him. He's a great guy. He's very, obviously, an expert at this stuff. And Nathan, thank you so much for sharing. Any last comments you want to make before we close it out?
No, as you know, Alex, I am passionate about this stuff. And
yeah.
So yeah, if you're trying to implement your own low-code, no-code strategy, or trying to figure out how to incorporate artificial intelligence or industrial IoT approaches, whether Prolim can help you or not, that's not the point. If I am part of this group, I would love to talk to you and help you regardless. Reach out to me if you need any help.
That's a great offer. So with that, I'm going to take over the screen and we'll close it out. And then we'll say our thanks at the end here. But that was a great session. Again, everybody, that was Nathan Rajen, who's still here with me, who talked about low code and AI digital manufacturing solutions. He's at Prolim, and be sure and reach out to him. And to close it out, see all of our video, all of our interviews and all the other content we put out at our site, technologyexecutivesclub.com. The YouTube channel and the podcast are under the name Technology Executives Review. Don't ask me why I did it that way, but I did. And you can watch at the usual places, Apple and Spotify. And don't forget at our site to subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss any of our content. And thanks to Nathan for being part of our Board of Advisor program. Nathan, thank you. And the Board of Advisors is the Board of Advisors to the technology community. And you become a regular on what we call our digital media network. And we've been growing it now for a little over a year and a half now. And we've got over 1.5 million views. And if you're a technology leader or a business leader in a tech company, and actually, you just switched. You were a technology leader. Now you're a business leader in a tech company. It's really the same thing to me. I just call it that way so people understand it. And you're invited to get a complimentary spotlight interview. Nathan and I did one. It's like that 6 to 8. Remember that short interview we did? And you can put it in your featured section of your LinkedIn profile. That's for qualified executives. So if you want to see if you're qualified, just reach out to me and we'll talk to you. And if we can do it for you, we will. Or you can just book a discovery call on our site. Thank you for attending. Nathan, thank you again. Great job. And everybody, it's an honor to serve you and your team. Visit us at technologyexecutivesclub.com.